Night of the Seven Kingdoms Season 1 Episode 2 is called Hard Salt Beef, and we kind of follow two tracks in this episode. We see Dunk make a little bit of progress in the world, and we also see Ser Arlan's legacy as well. I think we'll talk about Ser Arlan first. With Dunk's internal monologue, the showrunners seem to have turned that into flashbacks in some ways. Early in the episode, we see Dunk going to different High Lords that Ser Arlan served at one time or another, none of whom remember him. And we see this interspersed with flashbacks, him singing as they ride along the road, him interacting with the small folk, a bit of his personality, and the fact that he's an absolute tripod. And the episode returns to this at the end, where Dunk describes himself as Ser Arlan's legacy. Basically, the only impression that Ser Arlan of Pennytree left on the world was Ser Duncan the Tall. I guess this is kind of a growing sense of personal identity on the part of Dunk. That was really nice. Some of this reflection is provoked by the second thing I'll talk about, which is the jousting. I enjoyed the joke about Lord Ashford and his sheep. It seems they're keeping the small folk in there as important players in the game, even as some more High Lords turn up this episode. I'll talk about them later. So the jousting happened at night, which was a little bit strange, but it was very kinetic. There was a huge sense of danger to it, and it was great to see all the heraldry. There was definitely the Laughing Storm, there was a Tully there as well, and a few other houses. I didn't notice all of them. Very good as an action scene, very good for character as well. We saw Egg really getting involved, really enjoying seeing the jousting, and we saw Dunk finally understanding what it is that he's trying to do, what it is that he's trying to join in, just how dangerous it's going to be. The third thing that I'll talk about is Baelor Targaryen. Baelor is the son of the king, the heir to the throne, the hand of the king as well, and he comes to Duncan's rescue. He says that he remembers Arlan of Pennytree, and as such, Dunk will be allowed to join the lists to take part in the tournament. Baelor is a little bit different to other Targaryens that we've seen. He doesn't have the cruelty of someone like Viserys III or Daemon. He doesn't have the indecisiveness of Viserys I. He's very aware of his status as a guest. He wants to make sure everyone gets along, and he wants to make sure that everyone has a chance to speak and is considered. He's very unlike his younger brother Maekar, who's very dour, very... how to describe Maekar? I guess the guy is very bought in to the ideas of what a Westerosi knight would be. He's much more like other Westerosis than he is, for example, like Daemon Targaryen, who was very interested in Valyrian culture. Maekar's very much, you should be a knight, my sons should be a knight, my sons should take part in tournaments and be successful in them. Baelor admonishes him slightly for that. Says, for example, that Maekar's son Daeron, who we saw briefly in the first episode, shouldn't be fighting in tournaments, just like their brothers, Aerys and Rhaegal, shouldn't be fighting in tournaments either. Maekar is very set in his ways. He has a very particular view of how he's raising his sons and what type of people he wants them to be. Next thing, those other Targaryens. So we have Baelor, the eldest brother, and Maekar, the youngest. Like I already mentioned, they talk about their other brothers, Aerys and Rhaegal. We also see Aerion, Maekar's son, interact with Dunk a little bit, and very briefly see Valar, Baelor's eldest son and the second in line to the throne. But despite the fact that the Targaryens are there, this is still a show about Dunk, and Dunk is a fantastic character. It's amazing just how much information kind of swirls around Dunk, what people say around him and what people do around him, and he just doesn't notice. Like, for example, the way that Lord Ashford's daughter is speaking to him. She's clearly a bit interested in him, and he doesn't get it at all. When Baelor and Maekar talk about their missing sons, he doesn't make any connection either to Egg or to Daeron. When Egg says he is insecure about his physical size, Dunk doesn't understand that the boy is looking for reassurance. And let's talk about Egg then as well. The little kid seems to have a lot of information. He wants to stay away from the Targaryens, but when the two of them are alone, he talks about the Blackfire bastards. He has information about the social background of a member of the Kingsguard. If you've read the book, you obviously know who Egg is. I think we're going to find out pretty soon. But Dunk is just completely blind to what's happening here. It's really funny. But even if Dunk isn't the smartest guy, he's still a fantastic protagonist. For example, when we see the horse being sold, when we see him looking after Aerian's horse, I think Peter Claffey is still kind of man of the match. I think he's still holding it together. It's a very Dunk-centric story in the writing, and I'm glad that they're keeping it Dunk-centric in the TV show. I also really enjoyed the sigil with Tanselle. You're just the right height, and Egg saves him from saying something too stupid. And finally, I guess I'd also like to talk about the master of the game. So he's in the background of the scene with Maekar and Baelor inside the castle, and you can see the guys kind of willing on Dunk, willing him to be able to join the tournament. So I'm glad they're keeping that character here as well. So that's the second episode of Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It built on the first one really nicely. I don't think there's any weak links in terms of the story. Lyonel Baratheon, I haven't mentioned Lyonel Baratheon. So Dunk joins in the tug of war. Lyonel seems like a little bit of an arsehole, to be honest, but he's a charming arsehole, I guess. So personally, I'm still very happy with the show. I think it's doing really well.